Welcome
okay.
back. Welcome back to Marlowe House. I'm Monica Marlowe.
And I'm Andrew Marlowe.
This is Marlowe House Presents. This is part 2 of The Longest Night. We still have Jim and Scott.
Who?
Yes, I know, right? And would you guys like to quick introduce yourselves around again so everyone knows who you're playing?
I'm Scott. I am playing Badger. Oh, the words.
Yeah,
I
all
get.
the words.
I
Word
guess.
the words.
Okay, I'm Scott, and I'm playing Badger, who is a strong-willed nano who hunts with great skill.
I am Jim. I'm playing Saul. I am a sharp-eyed Jack who solves mysteries.
And I'm Addis, a confident nano who masters weaponry.
Excellent. So when last we met, 15 minutes ago, for some of us, our explorers were in a village of Lowescroft, and it is the equivalent of the winter solstice on the ninth world, is the longest night, and this region of the setting is haunted, or perhaps they are troubled by large glowing globes that roam the countryside, and most recently a young man by the name of Evet has disappeared after having been witnessed to have been inside the globe, although his wife Annelle was with him at the time and she survived. So our explorers have been invited to go look into this terror, and they have taken up the challenge. So what would you guys like to do?
Well, I think we were deciding. We had been told the glowing orbs were headed in a this way-ish direction, and I think we have to decide whether or not we follow them or we backtrack.
Before we go too far, though, the townsfolk gave us ciphers.
Correct.
We should probably decide if we're going to use any of our current ones so that we're not over our limits. They're not hard limits, so we can risk carrying extras, but I'd rather not risk carrying extras.
Especially since I think some of you have spent some...
Exactly, and since we have a couple of rejuvenators, I have a rejuvenator that actually affects any pool, so I'm going to go ahead and burn that one, and I'm going to take care of my intellect, because I don't believe yours covered, the ones that they gave you covered intellect.
One was intellect, one was speed.
Tell you what, let me leave mine on here, because they're all the same level.
Okay.
And let me take the intellect one and burn that one.
Okay.
That way, if turns out we need another one, we'll keep the one that's more flexible.
I like that idea.
So that puts me at 14.
I do not know if Badger felt the need to rejuvenate anything.
Do you feel rejuvenated, Badger?
No, I'm fine, you big sissy.
Okay.
But I appreciate the concern.
Just saying.
He is never going to ask after your well-being again.
I'm just saying there's nothing I hate to hear more than a wounded badger, so don't.
Badger don't give a darn. Sorry, as it turns out, my mother might be listening tonight, so I'm trying to keep the inappropriate jokes to a maximum.
Well, I'm
Don't forget.
glad to hear
I was
that.
going to say, don't forget, Jim's 8-year-old is listening.
10-year-old.
10-year-old.
He will not be listening to this. He will be
So
listening
maximum
to the,
plus 2.
Yes.
Right.
Please
Or
fall
minus
as
2.
far over his head as you can go.
So, like Looney Tunes cartoons.
Yes.
Okay, let's... So, Addis has used one of the rejuvenators, and everybody else is okay then? I mean, I'm just trying
I'm
to make...
fit as a fiddle.
All right, so...
Not
All right, so I guess we're
hurting.
gonna brave carrying one.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, so where would you guys like to head? You've got a whole big
Follow
region.
or backtrack? Anyone?
Let's follow him.
Okay. I forgot. Badger's a mighty hunter. We will follow them.
I hope they leave tracks.
right.
I doubt it.
Lead on, Macduff.
So, one of the things that I should have told you, Scott, when you were following the one, and I failed to.
Yes.
And I would have, because you would have noticed.
Okay.
You did notice that there was a very faint shimmer in the air behind. By the time you had caught up to it, it was nearly imperceivable. But you
Imperceivable.
could see, but when you followed through it, you noticed at the time it was sort of like it was like snow in the air, like a really fine mist of snow, and you realize now that it is not actually snowing, and that it had cleared pretty soon after. So they do seem to leave some kind of residue that does, dissipate pretty quickly.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until you realized that it wasn't still snowing everywhere else either, but it kind of had that sense of like that coolness and kind of that tingle that you get of really fine misty snow on your skin.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't seem to leave a trail per se, but on the ground, but they do have a trail of some
A
kind.
presence.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So, all right. So you guys head off in the direction that they appear to have gone. The land continues to be a lot of farming for maybe the first hour. You are able to see the globes in the distance. I mean, it's very dark.
Okay.
The sky is lit, but even with the light of the moon, you can still see them because they're moving. You can see them up ahead of you, ghosting around, and that.
We don't run across anybody like out looking for lost sheep or lost husbands.
You can hear livestock and stuff like that, but for the most part, all the buildings that you come across, you're not really walking up to the front doors. You don't really see anybody.
Right.
It's pretty quiet all around, but you do hear animal sounds, whether it's livestock and some of the wild animals. It is a lot quieter though than it normally is at night. It does seem that all of the animals are aware of what's going on, as that goes. So, and you laughed.
Anyway.
That was a lot of. Tried to do the Sirenscape, and I ended up with a lot extra noise.
Oh. For the listeners at home, we can actually hear what's going on in the Sirenscape aspect of that channel, and so this is our first time out with it. Sounds like Andrew's having a good time though.
I don't think any of us have the right focus to talk to the animals, mate.
No, there was I don't know. I don't try to remember the guy's name we ran into that could do it. Little Do, I think his name was.
Oh, that fella.
Anyway, so we are tracking the orbs.
Okay. So as you continue, you do start to enter a more wooded area. There are the trees initially are smaller, and that, but as you go in deeper into the woods, it is more of an older forest pretty quickly. And not too far in, you come across a synth wall. It's not like across the area or anything like that. It's more like a garden type wall. It's maybe about chest high, and you can see that there are some ruins of an old building to the side. The walls in the building are kind of caved in, and it doesn't appear to have a roof any longer. But you do notice that there's an orchard. Oddly, and this garden has some cultivated looking plants that have gone wild, and there is a large willowy type tree in the inside within the garden walls as well. So there's some building in the middle of the forest. Pardon me. I'm having a hard time getting back into talking.
So, looking at it, and because I have chosen botany as today's jack skill, anything odd about these trees? Were these the type of trees you normally would find in an orchard, or is this the rare flowering tree of something or other that...
Give me a perception check, but you can also use your botany. Of course, that gives you like a ton of stuff. You really can't use your botany because I think you can only max out on. Can you only max out on 2 skills?
Yeah.
Okay, so
trained and specialized.
yeah.
I rolled an 18.
Okay, you notice a sweet, fruity smell, kind of florally, given that it's
Winterish?
Winterish.
It seems odd.
It seems a little odd, and you remember, and there's something in the back of your mind that there's a tree called a dream sallow that always has that sort of sweet florally fragrance to it.
Okay.
And that it puts out spores that encourage you to... You start to feel like you're getting a little sleepy, actually, now that you mention it. Now that you think about it,
That's why I remember this. I warned Addison Badger not to get too close to the tree. It wants you to sleep next to it. And that seems like a horrible idea at the moment.
I mean, he doesn't want to cuddle, does it?
As a matter of fact, you seem to remember that it puts down roots through people.
Yeah,
and starts to siphon off their memories.
It's not a good idea. So, and this is not why we're here, as interesting as this is. I kind of say we should push on.
So chop down the trees on the way back.
On the way back.
All right. Here, hand these to Jim. So, when you get 2 cards, you share one with somebody else at the table, and it's an intrusion.
Wait, that's bad, right?
Not necessarily.
It's a complication.
It's a complication.
Let's give it to Badger.
You think you felt the earth move?
Like in a bad way.
like
Was
maybe
it
it
good for you?
shivered?
Like the time we were attacked by the giant tunneling giraffes. I remember that.
It could be like that.
Did anybody else feel that? Nah,
Did we all feel it, or
we never asked if these orbs could come through the ground, but I think we should be ready for something.
I think it's a tree.
It could be the tree.
You don't think you felt anything, but now, of course, you're second guessing, well, did I feel something? But at this point, you can't say for certain.
Badger, do you sense anything?
Are your badger senses tingling?
All right, let's scan the area with our badger senses.
Okay. You don't have to roll. There's other than the tree life and stuff like that, there isn't anything that you are aware of at this time that is a danger or anything like that.
Okay.
No, mate, I think you got tremors.
Okay. Let's keep going after the glowing orbs while we're here. We can solve this mystery later.
Okay. So as you continue to head in the vague general direction now of where you think the orbs were at, because now they have started to move further and further away, you're seeing fewer of them. You hear talking. You've been walking for about a half an hour and you hear talking, and it sounds like people holding a conversation.
In a language we know, or just...
It's kind of hard to tell. You can hear voices, individual voices coming through the trees, but you're not certain that you can make out exactly what they're saying. It's
Well,
kind of a
let's-
strange, huh?
Let's go check that out. Maybe they
Yeah.
saw something. Maybe we can make sure we're on the right track.
Could be some bandits. Or...
Well, yeah, there are the people apparently who rob all these houses, and
Yes.
maybe we can get people their stuff back.
At least do some good tonight.
So as you walk, the tree roots and stuff like that, you find yourselves. It's a more level area. You're not in a. You're in a where the land is kind of flattened out from the hills that were to the west of you. You come across. The sound gets louder, and you can start to hear people. It's like there's about 3 voices, and they seem to all be holding conversations with one another, but the words they're saying don't make sense. Like one of them is talking about the time that they had the biggest gourd in their farm, and they won the local contest of some sort, and another person is talking about the weather, and their conversation isn't meshing up, and then you can hear like a low growling sound, like an animal is nearby as well. That all seem to be coming from the same area.
Might be a bad time to mention. I'm pretty sure these things are like transporters.
Yeah. Well,
Right.
we press on. I mean,
Let's head that direction. I mean, we committed to going and investigating the voices.
Okay. You see what looks to be 3 people and an animal standing in a shower, or maybe they're swimming in water. You can see like their heads above the ground. They're really low, but in the dark it's kind of hard to see what's going on, but they appear to be standing in water. Like, remember the 80s, like quicksand that everybody was afraid they were going to be in? That's what they look like they're in.
And they're
But
all
they're-
having different
And
conversations.
they're all having different conversations. You're not even sure one of them's actually speaking the local language. It seems to be muttering and gibbering.
Well, I'm confident. I'm going to go ahead and walk up towards them
Okay.
and say, "Good evening, folks."
All right. As you get closer, they don't seem to be aware of you. Go ahead and give me a perception check, though.
Right, I am trained in that.
Okay.
I'm not spending any effort on that at the moment. Okay, so I am trained, and I rolled an 11.
Okay. It's too dark. All you can see are really the heads, but they are definitely standing in water. Or swimming. They're kind of moving around a little bit, but beyond that, they don't seem to be aware of you.
I look back at the rest of you. Shrug.
Go ahead and give me initiative.
awesome possum.
It's impossible.
I love it.
10.
Oh! I'm gonna spend that XP.
I love it when I make you spend XP.
18, and I am trained.
And 18 for the reroll.
All right.
That's a good use of it.
Yes. Went from a 1, which, I was willing to take 1 intrusion for the moment. But I
Sure.
figured it was kind of a bad idea to be, every encounter started with a free intrusion.
All right.
But funny.
Saul,
Fair.
Saul and Addis, is there anything you care to do at the moment?
I am going to look around for anything that's watching us, like up in the trees or any obvious scanning devices while I have my handy mace out.
You don't see anything other than these heads, but you do feel like you're being watched. And you're pretty sure the water is starting to churn a little.
Great. I would back up Addis.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and pull my strong glass rapier.
Okay.
With shard in my hand, I'm going to kind of back away a little bit from the water and kind of try to keep an eye out for anything that might be moving.
All right. This enormous crustacean comes out of the water up onto the edge towards you, and as you do that, as you start to both back away, both of you give me speed defense rolls.
Crossing fingers.
What'd you get?
It's a 9.
Well, that's better than my 3, but I'm trained in it.
So as it comes up, it has these two enormous pincers on the front. And it comes up on the other 6 legs, and it backhands both of you basically with its pincers. It obviously doesn't have very good vision in the dark either, and rather than grasping you, it hits you for 4 points of damage.
Ouch.
I'm sorry. How do I track damage?
That comes off your might.
Oh,
first.
It starts on your might.
Now I remember, right, and
Yeah.
then speed and then intellect, right?
Yes.
Okay. That's uncool.
Scott, what would you like to do?
Declare bugger.
Okay,
Oh, bugger.
that's your free portion of your action.
And then I will. That's useless.
I mean, you said it.
It's too big to do that. Would you say it was an attack, or would you say it's just like that it's so big and unwieldy that it's just sort of pushed them?
It sort of kind of lunged out of the water. It's pretty big. It's sort of a lumbering kind of a movement. It is not exactly clear, but the fact that it hit both of them seems awfully convenient.
Yeah.
To be anything other than
A coordinated attack.
yes.
That is a 5. Then I will. This is going to sound horrible. I use my shocker.
Yes.
Which is a level 9. I'm not going to try and modify that because it's pretty big. I think that hitting it won't be the issue. I think that its own armor might be the issue.
And what did you roll?
I rolled a 10 to hit.
Okay.
Make sure I don't have anything. Would that technically be a light weapon?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay, so it's modified by that then. So it'd be modified by 1 step. It's a 10 on the die, and it is a level 9 cipher. So if it hits, it would do 9 points of electrical damage.
It glances off of the armor, and you're not certain that it was a very good hit to begin with. You're you're not certain that you got real close. It might have actually traveled along the armor. Oops, I just stuck my hand in the audience's face.
3D for our platinum level subscribers.
Smell-o-vision. So you definitely didn't do any damage to it. You're not certain if its armor is that great or if maybe your aim is just that wrong. All right. So back to Saul and Addis.
Is it really close to us?
Well,
I mean, it was close enough to hit us.
It's at an close to immediate range.
All right. So what I would like to do, I want to stick it with Shard.
Okay.
So I'm going to go ahead and spend some speed to make that. Well, let's see. I'm going to go ahead and spend a little bit of might instead. I'm going to use that to.
Yes.
As part of my sharp-eyedness, I have find a flaw. If an opponent has a straightforward weakness, you know it.
You're pretty sure that while it is heavily armored, it's also probably pretty slow.
I'm gonna relay. It's big and it's gonna move slow, so in and out attacks probably will be best.
Right. So I'm going to spend my might for damage rather than to lower the difficulty. So I'm going to put effort to damage. Shard is a light weapon, so that's going to lower my difficulty by 1 step. And I rolled an 11.
All right. You do not seem to be able to get your weapon in at all. You're not even. It kind of moved. You went for the claw as it was
All
the
right.
closest part, and
Once I've done that, I'm going to back away from it quickly.
okay. And then you.
Now, when you say it's a crustacean, is it completely out of the water, or is part of it still in the water?
When I say crustacean, that's more for a visual rather than for an actual.
It is some sort of armored sea creature.
Yes.
Okay, is it out of the water, or is it standing on its legs on...
It's a little bit of both. It looks like it might have a tail. It's got a chitinous shell. And you notice now that the heads on top are real excited, but they're
Are the heads still in the water, or are they
No,
attached?
no. They appear to be on stalks. Now that it's out of the water, you can see that it has these tendrils, and that the heads are actually just that are just decapitated
Yay!
heads
That's disgusting.
that are talking while this combat's going on. The heads are still talking, but they're a lot more animated now.
My gourd was really big.
Exactly.
I hope they're
Badger.
Statler and Waldorfing.
Badger, do you think you could get up there and start attacking the heads while I distract it?
Yeah.
Okay, I will try and distract it. I will try and run under it or around it, making a lot of noise.
Well, you definitely have gained its attention, so give me 2 speed defense. It seems to go toward you.
2 speed
Yes,
defenses. Awesome.
with both of its...
Now, because I'm making 2 rolls, do I need to spend any edge?
if you spend any effort, you can only spend it on 1.
Nah. What could go wrong?
What could go wrong?
Could go wrong? Nothing.
A 7 and a 14.
Uh,
And I do have a training in speed defense, so...
all right, so only one of them hits you.
Awesome.
You take 5 points of damage, though, because it does hit you. It is attempting a rend, so it clamps you. It catches you with the sharp ends of the pincers.
That is not
this
as
time.
cool, but okay.
You are pretty sure that would have really hurt if it had made contact on both.
Yeah. Hopefully that gives Badger his edge to start.
Use the crab fork.
The enchanted crab fork of Laguna Beach. We should have brought that.
All right, Andrew.
Badger will far step up to
Okay.
the back of the crustacean.
Okay. Now that you're here, you're pretty sure that these heads are ornamental more than anything else. The creature itself seems to have its own head, and it's not these. I mean, they're on its back, but they're, now that you're kind of closer, you can see where the armor opens and stuff like that. It does seem to have its own face, not these heads.
Just to test that theory,
Uh-huh.
kick over one of the stalks.
It just kind of like does this. I mean, it's like all floppy. It's not unlike a water plant, kind of like a water lily, just rooted. That's a nice talking water lily with a face. It says nonsense. Oh, all right. Saul and Addis.
I'm going to spend this action doing a recovery roll. Wow. Saul has it occupied and Badger's playing with the heads. And I get 6 points back. I'll put that right all into might.
I'm going to not do that same thing again. I'm going to try and see how secure the leg parts of it are on the ground. I'm going to try and run up and just try and like push a leg, or I know you said it had more than two, so I know it's not going to fall, but maybe I can break a leg.
It's a pretty mass. I mean, it's about the size of, a cow, and its body a little bit bigger than that.
Okay.
And its legs are
meaty.
They're all squat and kind of.
Okay, so that's
kind of it's like
Take
a
a mace to
lobster.
its leg.
Yeah, think like a crab or a lobster. I mean, it's.
I'm gonna mace its leg. I'm gonna.
Okay, go ahead and
Hit it with
give
the
me
butter.
I'm gonna get me mallet.
No, we're gonna.
Oh, did you roll a one? Yeah.
That's a good call.
5. Not much.
Better than a 1.
Yeah.
So you swing, and you're not really sure how you miss. Maybe it's dark. I mean,
Yeah.
gosh, you're in the middle of the woods, supposed to be following light balls, and now
It's okay.
this great big, lobster's tried to make dinner out of you. That said, it is its turn, and
Oh, wait a minute.
Oh, wait.
yeah.
Oh, you
no, I
didn't. I'm
did.
sorry.
I took my action to recover.
yeah, you recovered. Badger, give me a speed defense for balance.
Ooh, I'm actually trained in balance.
Okay.
19.
All right. You stay on there, but it kind of swings at you. It's aware of you on its back, and it.
Well, yeah, I kicked it in the telepathy cords.
All right.
Because I'm pretty sure that's what's going on up here.
Okay, so your turn, Badger.
The voices are loud up here.
Well, yeah, they're talking. They're kind of. They're still gibbering though. I mean, they're not really having a meaningful conversation.
My thought is they're probably connected to it, not just like physically, but like psychically in a way. Probably through these little stub cords.
Okay.
I do have a forearm blade. I'm going to actually try and cut one loose.
Okay. Go ahead and make an attack roll.
19 on the die.
All right.
Nice roll.
You are able to cut a couple of them loose,
Schnack.
but it doesn't really seem to affect the way the creature's moving.
Did the head stop talking?
Well, yeah. Once they fall off, they stop talking. But once they are severed, they completely stop.
That's good.
How much?
At least you stopped that.
What's your weapons? What is your weapon there?
It's a small one, so it should be 2
Okay,
plus 3 for
so 5.
the 19.
If we stop the heads, no more people will wander into this. I think we can call this a victory.
All right, so there's still one head talking. Still not making a lot of sense. Saul and Badger. Or not Badger. Saul
Addis.
and Addis.
No, I want to go again.
I have my,
You can go again,
I have
but
my
not
list
yet.
of PC names in front of me, and Badger comes after Saul, and I don't have my encounter page in the right spot.
It's because I'm at the end of the round this time.
Yes. No, you're at the top of the next round.
Oh,
Get
there
it
it
right.
is. There it
That's
is.
how it is.
Yes, that's how it works.
That's how it works. I'm the top of the next round. I am always the top
Do you have
of
a
the next
plan?
round.
I think if we sever the last head, we can stop it from at least drawing more people in for the moment. So we let Badger do the magic, and we distract it and run away.
All right, so I will yell out in some ancient archaic language
That you know from your background.
that I know because, and basically I call upon the spirits of technology or whatever that permeate the world, and I am going to trigger an onslaught.
Okay.
So it is going to be a mental attack. I'll use the mental blast version, which only does 2 points of damage, but it does ignore armor. I'm going to go ahead and apply a level of damage, or apply an effort for the 2 hit rather than for damage.
Okay.
So that is 3 points off. And I rolled a 14.
Okay. And you applied your effort.
For the attack roll.
Okay. All right. Which head are you attacking?
I am attacking the main creature.
Okay. All right. That does seem to cause it to sort of, pull back again a little into the water. Scott, give me another speed defense balance induce or enhance.
Nat 20.
All right.
Surfing the crab.
Alrighty.
With a nat 20 and an effect, can I just kind of, like, to keep the balance, can I slide down a little, grab that last pole, and, like, pop the head off?
Yeah, you can do that. That's fine because you're going to get to take your attack next round anyway.
Yeah.
So it tries to go after you, and in doing so, it kind of rears back a little. You head back down its back and pop that head, and you're able to slide right off the back and onto the land beside you. So now you're next to it, but you're away from its pincers at this point. It'll have to turn to get to you.
Cool.
All right. Top of the round. What are you doing, gentlemen?
Saunter away.
Saunter
Well,
away. Saunter away.
The
Quick.
onslaught seemed to work pretty well, so I'm going to go ahead and do that again.
Okay.
This time I'm going to go ahead and spend the effort for damage. When I do my onslaught, it looks like shards of glass go launching at it. These shards, being a mental attack, just like sink in past its armor, and I miss.
Okay. You miss. So
And
they
I
kinda
have no
glance-
XP, so you get a free intrusion because that's a 2. Yeah, I didn't realize how much more often this was going to show up.
That's why I've never taken that.
At least 5% more often.
Who knew that 5% was such a big number?
Give me a speed defense roll.
That's a 17.
All right, so it does swing at you, and it glances you, though you take 2 points of damage, but you are able to get out of the way from it.
So I take damage, or
You take damage, but you
Okay.
were able to avoid the
sharp point.
the sharp point and the strength behind it. It's more like it just it catches you
okay.
and kind of pushes you back a little. All right, so they're running, sort of sauntering. I've never seen people saunter away from a fight. I'm not sure. how
I'm
that's
staying
gonna
in
work.
it. I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm sorry.
I think
Saul is sauntering away from it.
Addis, grab your trudges. We gotta go.
We got this.
we're bouncing off of it. Unless you want to try your quiz show magic on it, go ahead.
Okay. With that, when we get around to my action again, I will far step to join the others.
Okay.
So I leap.
All right. So it doesn't really give you very fast pursuit. You can certainly outrun it pretty quickly if that is your
Yes,
goal.
that's
Fellas, I'm walking backwards. It's way back there.
I think we have neutralized the threat. It will have to either regrow heads or trick more people into
There you go.
getting more heads. Thank you.
Yay.
And at the very least, we will come back this way and not run into it, or maybe teach it a lesson.
So as you're
Yeah, because we
sauntering
were
backwards
teaching
away
it
from
such a
it,
lesson this time.
I don't want to be a downer. What are the odds that we're just doing one of these weird death dreams, cradled in one of your creepy blood trees?
Smack.
Ow.
See, there you go.
everybody give me a perception check.
Because if it was a dream, I'd hope we were winning.
18.
10.
I am trained in perception. I rolled a 15.
I'm
Okay,
trained in
this
it.
time, Addis and Badger, you both feel what you think is like earth shivering.
Oh, it's going to get us. It's a tree. It's going to get us from below. You and your stupid dream trees.
I would like to take a second and
That happened once.
recovery.
Once.
You rolled a 10.
Yes, but I'm trained, so.
Oh, you feel it too.
Alright.
You're like,
Did you guys feel it that time? Yeah.
Yeah, we
I
felt
forgot
it.
you get it too.
He's worried it's your dream trees. I was trying to tell him it once.
Yeah.
Fall asleep under the wrong tree once. Badger never let you live it down.
We didn't fall
You
asleep.
know how long it took to dig out those roots?
I think I still have scars.
I would like to take a second and recover.
Okay.
Oh, it was an awesome roll. So that's 3.
We can
It's
take
good.
10 minutes.
No, we don't have 10 minutes. We're
Okay.
If we take 10 minutes, the crab might catch halfway up
Yeah.
to us.
Fair.
You're pretty sure it is not giving long
Yeah.
distance pursuit. That is its water hole.
Because I have butter.
Yes.
let's keep going after the orbs.
So you continue in the direction that you were headed, or at least you think that's the direction you were
Yes,
headed.
you're right. We didn't indicate it before we started this fight, but
That's okay. Travel for about five.
How's the
10
light
minutes.
holding up?
It's still dark.
Do we have enough light from the full moon, or is it?
It is. You still do, but you can tell that it's getting past midnight. Now it's definitely moved into the next day.
I'm gonna fire up my glow globe. It's minor.
Yeah, it was
but
one thing when you could see them in the distance and stuff like that, and kind of make out where you were at. But now it's there. You can still see them occasionally. They seem to be. The globes seem to have milled around for a while, and then moved on. They appeared to be whatever to hunting through the woods and stuff like that. And the animals here are definitely more quiet than they were back on the farming end.
I'm pretty sure these things are collectors.
Yes.
So I'm thinking we might get lucky. Some of these people might still be alive.
Right.
So about 10 minutes pass and you feel the earth shiver again. And it seems like it's a little stronger, although it's not like earthquake. I mean, it is really like when you just get a shiver, like it's cold. You know, you just kind of shake it off and that, but
With a scan, nothing weird below the surface.
not below the surface that you can detect. As you continue in this direction, you feel a shiver again. But this time you think it might have been a shorter period of time between the second two and the first one.
And we're in the
second.
woods. We're not in an inhabited area, or
No.
okay.
You're in the woods. This
So
point.
either we're getting closer, or they're by themselves getting closer together. I'm thinking that means we're on the right track.
Now, does the ground feel like it's shivering at all? What's the...
It's kind of like that when you get like the saying is someone walked over your grave.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of feels like that, but it feels like it's coming from the earth, but you get that kind of sense.
That's weird. Was this happening like while we were walking?
Yes. Saul detected it earlier.
I don't want to walk back to where I felt it last.
It's about a 7 to 10 minute walk.
I mean, like when we feel it again,
Uh-huh.
I figure I take a couple of steps and I want to stop from when I feel it again and kind of back up over, retrace my steps just a little bit.
Oh! So you just want to see if it's like a line?
I want
No,
to,
if it's location dependent.
Yeah.
right? Like if we're walking over something that's
When the next time it happens and you back up and go through, you don't detect it again.
okay, so it's not a locational thing.
Right.
I see. I was like, you want to walk all the way back to.
No,
The-
I
the
just want it when it
previous-
happens. I just want
Okay. I misunderstood. But again, as you continue to walk, they do seem to get closer together time-wise.
Keep going. I mean, there's no indication not to. So
Looks like we're on the clock, fellas.
yes.
So you travel again for. At this point, you've been traveling about 30 minutes, and you've detected that there's something going on. After maybe another 30, 40 minutes or so, the shivering is almost like right after the other. It's not quite that instantaneous.
Okay,
it's
so
not
about
constant.
about that point, that glow globe goes dark, and I toss it because
Maybe it's a defense mechanism. Because I could see people not wanting to keep getting closer if this is going on. That tells me we're really going the right way.
So at this point, they're
anybody
about.
else have any light?
Yeah, I'll go on.
Oh, I think he wanted to turn them off. He
No.
didn't want them on. Oh, you.
No, his went out.
Oh,
Yeah.
yours
Mine goes
went-
out.
Oh, yours
It's only
goes
good
out.
for about an hour.
Oh, okay.
I couldn't afford a good one.
Oh, okay. My bad. So at this point, once they get to be about a minute or two apart, and we'll back up just a smidge, you do start to see more of the globes moving in the forest ahead of you, and there are a lot of them. But they are moving in ahead of you. You're not really seeing them to the side, but you can see that they're sort of. It's more like there's a line of them in front of you because there are just so many up. Like
Right.
but you can't really discern where they're at.
Okay.
per se, other than in
That's
front of
a
you.
lot.
Yes.
So then, as you continue in your,
How far ahead are they?
They are.
Roughly.
They're maybe a quarter mile or so, and they do seem to continue to move. But
So a little outside 200 feet.
yeah, a little outside 200 feet. But because it's dark, you can see them because of the light that they cast.
Yeah.
So you can see the trees ahead of you a lot easier now.
Right.
So if your glow globe goes out, you know.
I see more of a reason to just like toss it to the side. Like, I don't need this.
Let's hold on to the other one then for now. As long
Yeah.
as we can see it.
So so at this point you've been out in the woods, and you've passed through, you know, some clearings and things like that. You know, a couple of, you know, lone old buildings and whatnot. But you've been out now for several hours, and as they start to, the shivers start to become more frequent, you think in the distance ahead of you and the globes, you see maybe a shadowy structure, and this goes up into the trees, and you can kind of see it because there's a ghostly outline to it. It seems to be perhaps lit. It's hard to tell given the amount of light between you and it, but you do start to detect something ahead of you.
Definitely what we're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
Come here, you. Well, here, since I keep giving you free ones, there's one for you.
Thank you.
As you're looking ahead, overhead, you hear the sounds of rushing. Sounds like the wind is kicking up, and as it gets chilly, you realize the trees blowing through the leaves. The leaves are blowing. The wind is blowing through the leaves and the branches, and making a clattering sound. But you also hear something more distinct. It's more like animals running, and when you look up, you can see long, willowy, armed creatures that also seem to be giving off light that are actually humanoid. You've heard of them. They're Abkos. They seem to feed off of extra dimensional or transdimensional energy, and there's 3 of them, and they fly overhead. They seem to be moving of their own volition, but you think that they might be perhaps on creatures that you can't see. They don't seem to have wings, but you can see them moving through, and there seems to be some distortion. But they're moving through the air, and they're also moving toward in generally the same direction, but they're off sort of to the distance because of the height of the trees and stuff like that. You can kind of see to the sky. But they move past you. They don't seem to catch any attention. You don't seem to catch their attention.
That was weird. And I point out the creatures. They appear to be riding something that's not here.
Okay.
Those things crave and feed on transdimensional energies.
That would explain the once a year thing.
Yeah, and I'm wondering if they're somehow related to these orbs, or if maybe these orbs are transdimensional of the sort. And
Yeah, there's a lot of pieces coming together here.
mm-hmm.
Let's approach the mysterious tower.
And we're going to take another break. We'll be back.
We'll be back.